Yo, what is up everybody, Jutsu here. Welcome back to another Naruto related video here today. And today, as you can tell by the title, I'll be giving you my top 10 Naruto Jutsu. And mind you, there are probably thousands of Jutsu that have been recorded throughout the illustrious history of Naruto. So it took me quite some time to narrow down this list to just 10, with there being so many legendary and iconic Jutsu that have been seen. And going into this, I'm sure not all of you are going to agree. It's almost impossible to make a list where everyone agrees, right? But in this video, I'm basically going to be giving you, obviously, my top 10, giving you a quick, thorough rundown of each jutsu, maybe some fun facts thrown in there, and then I'm going to explain why I think the jutsu belongs in the position that it is in within this list. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, turn on bell notifications, stay with yours truly, and of course, hit that sub button to become part of the family. Coming in at number 10, we got Shino Tensei. Now, mind you, the Pain arc is my favorite arc in all of Naruto, so I had to have Pain's signature jutsu definitely on this list, and it happened to be at number 10. Now, to sum up this jutsu quickly but thoroughly, the user is able to create a repulsive force, pushing anyone and anything away, including ninjutsu, with the power of the Shino Tensei, depending on the amount of chakra invested in it. That's why you see Pain using various sizes of Shino Tensei, such as when he destroyed Konoha, all the way to a smaller one, such as when he took out Kakashi, with there being a 5-second cooldown period between standard Shino Tenseis and a more significant amount of time between cooldowns, such as when Pain destroyed Konoha. Now, guys, every time I saw this shit on screen, man, I was just in awe. I was, I think, a teenager when I first saw Pain's debut, and I think Kishimoto did a good job of presenting Pain to us, right? First, it was when he killed Jiraiya, sadly, but then he let us get a real glimpse of what Pain's capable of when he went to Konoha, and I'm sure all the viewers were like, alright, what can this guy really do? So when he destroyed the village in particular, man, I think that really put the nail on the coffin and gave us this perception that Pain is a legend of biblical proportions. At least in my eyes, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, what is Naruto going to do against someone of this caliber? So I think Shino Tensei was pivotal, in giving us this portrayal of Pain, while also having just a really cool look and a really cool name. I mean, the literal English translation is Heavy Subjugation of the Omnipresent God. Now, please tell me that doesn't sound cool. So everything about Shino Tensei, man, is just top tier, and there's no way I couldn't have this not on the list. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be at number 10 in my eyes. Coming in at number 9, we got the Susano, which is an important tool that many of the most famous of Uchiha have used, such as Madara, Itachi, and Sasuke. So the user of the Susano is able to summon a human-like avatar made up of the user's chakra that fights for the user and or protects it. Also, a masterful Susano user could also summon the Susano in various developmental stages, from the weakest being the skeleton stage all the way up to the fully body armored Susano, such as when Madara used it in the 4th Great Shinobi War. Furthermore, a Susano user could even just summon one body part, such as the ribcage or just the arm. Now, guys, I have to compare the Susano ability to that of the Green Lantern's ability, and here's why, for you guys that don't know. A Green Lantern's only limit is the amount of willpower that he or she possesses. So, someone like Kyle Rayner, right, one of the Green Lantern users within the DC universe, has very strong will, resulting in him being a very powerful Green Lantern user. Now, it's similar in the sense that both things are an extension of someone's will, right, with the Green Lantern being an extension of someone's will, and also the Susano. Now, the difference is that the Green Lantern's ring is dependent only on willpower. Now, the Susano is more dependent on emotions, particularly high stress-causing emotions such as hate and anger. So take someone like Sasuke, for example, who was full of hate, especially after Itachi's death. And we see how the Susano really got an amp in power when he was at the 5 Kage Summit, as evident when pointed out by Karin, who said his chakra was more cold and cruel. So, with all this in mind and the fact that these Susanos are basically just chakra giant transformers, it's pretty amazing what the Uchihas can do having this ability, well, particularly the more powerful ones. And I think having the Susano really ups their reputation and badassery. They're just very legendary and very feared. And, it's a big testament to why Madara was so feared back in his day, having that amazing ability to summon a mountainous-sized Susano that looks like a fucking transformer samurai. It's really badass, and I definitely had to have it in this spot. So coming in at number 8, we got Particle Style or Dust Release, however you want to call it. So this ability is a nature transformation Kekkei Tocha, combining the chakra natures of earth, wind, and fire. And the user, when using this ability, is able to destroy and disintegrate anyone or anything on a molecular level. And, long story short, it erases you from existence. So you're not even destroyed, you're erased from the fabric of reality. Just think about that. That's fucking bonkers, man. So I really am saddened by how underrated and how underexplored this jutsu really is. With the two only ways to counter it being another particle style user, like when Onuki and Mu went at it in the 4th grade Shinobi War, or having the ability to absorb ninjutsu, such as Madara when he had the Renegon and absorbed Onuki's particle style. So if you don't have those counters, you better fucking leave the battlefield, man. You're not going to beat someone with it unless you're just playing out faster and not get hit by it, or you leave the battlefield, which is not winning. It's just losing by default, right? So this shit is unstoppable unless if you don't have those two counters. And I think it's just severely underrated. I wish more people would talk about it. Onuki is one of my favorite characters, man, and I think he's the perfect character to have it. Headstrong leader type of personality, and I think someone with that kind of personality definitely deserves to wield this kind of power. It's just OP as fuck to me. That's what it was to me when I first saw it. Still is to me. And honestly, just think this through a little bit. If you don't have a Renegon and you don't have particle style yourself, what are you going to do? You can't tank it. You're in deep trouble unless you're a lightning timer like the Raikage who can just leave the battlefield, or hit Onuki before he can even do it. Besides that, you're fucked, man. You can't tank it. You can't just sit there and take it, because you're gonna die and disappear from existence. That's what's gonna happen. So I can talk about this all day, but this is definitely one of the best jutsus of all time, and Onuki is one of the best characters, and they both should be talked more about. So yeah, definitely deserves to be on number 8 for me. At number 7, we got Impure World Reincarnation, aka the Reanimation Jutsu. So specifically, I'm going to be talking about Kabuto's Reanimation Jutsu because he almost perfected it. So with this jutsu, the user needs to take a DNA sample of a deceased individual and then bind that individual's soul to a living vessel where they must do the user's bidding after being binded to that living vessel. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you can basically summon the dead, summon some of the most legendary shinobi, which Kabuto of course did. Furthermore, there's a range of control that the user can have on those that have been reanimated, from the weakest sort of control being giving them the personality, allowing them to do the binder's will at their leisure, so they're able to do what they want but still have to do what the binder wants, all the way up to taking away their personalities, right, completely, to where they're just shells of themselves. They're literally just machines doing the user's bidding. So that's pretty amazing as well. And one more perk of this jutsu is the reanimated have infinite chakra. So they have infinite chakra reserves and are basically immortal to almost anything besides some of the exceptions, such as Dubito's truth-seeking orbs. So all in all, guys, this shit's pretty amazing. I mean, we got to thank Kishimoto in particular for coming up with this. If it weren't for this jutsu, we wouldn't have seen some of the most legendary shinobi, guys. Just think about that. We wouldn't have seen the 3rd Raikage in action. We wouldn't have seen the 2nd Mizukage in action. We wouldn't have seen Mu. We wouldn't have seen Madara Uchiha in action. Shit. Or the 4 Kage. So we gotta thank Kishimoto for this one, man. And I think he executed it brilliantly. So there is no way I was not going to put this jutsu somewhere on this list with it being so pivotal to the storyline itself. I mean, there would be no Great Shinobi War, 4th Great Shinobi War, right, without this jutsu. The Zetsus were there, right, the 100,000 Zetsus, but the real highlights of this war were obviously the reincarnated shinobi. I mean, like I said, the 3rd Raikage, Madara, the 4 Kage, I mean, it was legendary. It was of biblical proportions. So there is no way I would not have this jutsu on. There's nothing else I really have to say. Coming in at number 6, we got Kamui. Now, guys, I think you guys can all agree when I say this jutsu truly makes someone seem untouchable. Now, with this ability, the user is able to transfer themselves and or objects from and to another dimension, commonly referred to as the Kamui dimension. More specifically, the right eye, which is the one that Obito had, grants the user the ability to use short-range Kamui, while the left eye, which is the one that Kakashi had, grants the user the ability to use long-range Kamui. Now, fun fact, when a user has both eyes, it's even potentially possible that it doubles the speed of the Kamui ability. So that's just a fun fact for you guys. Now, guys, when I first saw this, I truly thought that the quote-unquote masked man was Madara. And shit, he tricked the whole shinobi verse into thinking so. Now that just speaks volumes to this ability, and also speaks volumes to the kind of shinobi that Obito was at just a young age. I mean, shit, Minato thought that he was Madara, and Minato was arguably the most capable shinobi on Earth at the time. So this jutsu is just very, very pivotal and just really cool to look at. It's just one of those that gives a person a lot of lore, right? Thinking that Obito's Madara for such a long time, it's just something that we can't ignore. It's such a dominant jutsu, such a fear-imposing jutsu. Every time he would use it, for the most part, most people would have their eyes widened, their jaws dropped, and they would be lost for words. They wouldn't know what to do against someone like that. They truly thought that he was some sort of god. And shit, I understand why they thought he was Madara. I mean, I'm sure most of us thought he was Madara at the time before we knew he was Obito, right? So there really is no way I could not have this jutsu on the list. And it definitely belongs to be here, being such a scary jutsu, really. It's a cool looking jutsu. I really like the spiral aspect when he leaves or uses it. You know, the phasing aspect. Everything about it. It just makes Obito a very formidable and legendary shinobi, to be quite honest. So it definitely belongs to be at number 6. Alright, so the first jutsu on the top half of this list is the Tsukuyomi. Now guys, this is an ability used by my very favorite character in the whole world, Itachi Uchiha. So this ability is a Mangekyo Sharingan Dojutsu, being one of the most powerful genjutsu in the world. When caught by the genjutsu, the user can then make an illusion created of their own design, where things can happen, including torture for what seems like days or even longer for those who are caught, when in reality it is only a fraction of a second. Now, amazing fun fact, guys, that I had to put in this video. During the Uchiha massacre, Itachi actually used this ability for a good cause when he used it on his girlfriend Uzumi Uchiha in the Itachi novel. Alright, so he put her in a illusion where she lived her entire life, her entire dream life with him, in a fraction of a second, less than a billionth of a second, to give her a good ending, right? So I think that's fucking amazing that he did that, and I really wish the anime would have done that. You know, in the anime, Obito killed her in a brutal form. I really wish that Itachi could have put the nail in the coffin for his girlfriend. I think that would have been a very emotional and quite spectacular moment in the anime, but hey, we got what we got. It is fair to say that this is one of the most iconic jutsus within all of Naruto, by truly an iconic character. Alright, so this ability to me, guys, is fucking awesome. So when you're caught by it, the user is basically God to you. Itachi can do whatever he wants to you in that realm. Alright, so you're basically that person's puppet. They can do whatever they want. They can torture you, or they can give you a dream life like Itachi did to Uzume. So I don't know what else to say about it. I think just hearing those words come out of my mouth to tell you and make you feel like, holy shit, this is a hell of a jutsu. Right? There's really nothing else I could say. It's my favorite character with an amazing ability to just make your life living hell or living heaven. Right? He has the power to control that, because he is the god of genjutsu, and this is a godly genjutsu. Coming in at number 4, we got Kodo Matsukami. Now, to me, guys, this is one of the more interesting genjutsus, right? So this ability is an extremely subtle genjutsu that was once a specialty of Shisui the Teleporter, where the user could manipulate the mind of one affected to such an extent that the one caught in the genjutsu isn't even aware of it. And unlike most genjutsu, this one doesn't even require eye contact, as evident when Danzo used it at the 5 Kage summit and had the other four Kage along with Mifune, the mediator of the summit, under a pretty subtle genjutsu. So to me personally, the power and effect of this genjutsu makes it one of the most dangerous and badass genjutsu, and just jutsu in general, ever. So guys, this one, like I said, is very interesting. So you don't even know you're in it. So you're basically doing the user's bidding without even knowing you're in it. And furthermore, there is a 10-year cooldown period when you use the Kodo Matsukami to the fullest extent. So that's probably why Shisui didn't really use it while he was alive. I think he was saving it to use on maybe Danzo or the third Hokage to eliminate the conflict between the Leaf and the Uchiha clan. Now this one is just a godly ability. I mean, you can make someone do what you want without them even knowing it. So it gives them false experiences, right? They don't even know that they're doing what you want them to do. Now think about that for a second. Imagine doing something that you don't want to do without even knowing that you're doing it. That's pretty mind-blowing. That's pretty dope. And Shishui, I wish we could have seen him reach his full potential, man. Imagine what he could have done with this ability. Imagine what he could have done, man. I mean, you don't even need to look at the person, so they don't even know, you know? They don't even know when it's coming. Unless you have a Byakugan, like at the 5 Kage Summit, when Mei's right-hand guy let them know that Danzo was playing them all. He was playing them all without them even knowing. So, guys, this is one of the coolest Genjutsu ever, and it's definitely up there with Itachi's, and I think it's just a little bit better just because of what it's able to do. You know, you don't even have to look at the person. They don't even know they're in it, and they're fucked. So, that's all I really have to say about this one. Definitely belongs to be on the upper half of this list, and it's pretty amazing. At number 3, we got the 8 Inner Gates. Now, guys, the display of this jutsu is one of the coolest displays I've ever seen in any anime ever, and one of the coolest moments for any shinobi within the Naruto verse. So with this ability, the final gate of the 8 gates is open, where the user gains a boost in strength and power that is tens of times greater than that of the Go Kage, aka the 5 Kage, essentially making the user a taijutsu god, where the body is pushed to such an extent that it basically tears the user's muscles and breaks their bones, resulting in their death. So guys, in my eyes, the debut of the 8 Inner Gates really made my guy a god to me, honestly. He almost killed Madara with it, man. I mean, that moment was legendary. It will forever live on in the history of the Naruto verse as a fucking spectacular moment, alright? It just made Guy so much cooler. He already was fucking cool. I mean, he did a lot of cool shit up to that point, but this was icing on the cake for me, in my opinion. I mean, dude, he was running on the air towards Madara, alright? He was running on the air, running so fast that he was warping space and time as he threw punches, putting Madara against the fence, who had the Ten Tails chakra in him. He was a Ten Tails Jinchuriki at that point. I mean, dude, this was all Guy. This was no outer help, right? This was his power. I mean, this just speaks so many volumes to what Guy really is. He's a taijutsu god. And I think you can literally call this guy a god when he opens that gate, man. I mean, shit. After that display, I mean, what else could you say about the guy? What else could you say about this jutsu? I really wished it was more prolonged, but obviously this is such a powerful jutsu that the user dies from it, right? It's only you're a human being, right? You're a human being, so you're gonna die from it. But damn, I wish, you know, Kishimoto gave some leeway, and you know, where we could see this more often. But hey, that's just not the case. But it was short and sweet, you know. It was short and sweet, and we got a legendary moment that will forever live on in our hearts, man. So the 8 Inner Gates, easily a top 3 jutsu of all time. Coming in at number 2, we got the Flying Raijin. So with this ability, guys, the user can basically instantly teleport anywhere there is a technique formula, which could seemingly be placed on any person, place, or thing. And a masterful user is capable of split-second movements, capable of even giving light timers trouble, such as the 4th Rate Kage. So guys, I really think this jutsu is one of the most useful jutsu ever, making those who have to battle it shaking their boots, having to fight a technique that is almost impossible to counter, especially if you don't have the speed to do so. So even the 4th Rate Kage, who stated to be able to move at the speed of light with his lariat full speed, wasn't able to catch Minato. Minato had him shook. You know, this ability really gives you a strategic advantage. It almost makes you untouchable, similar to the Kamui, which was beaten, right, by Flying Raijin. Minato beat Kid Obito with Flying Raijin and his split-second reaction times. So this jutsu is very problematic for anyone using it. And even vast numbers of shinobi facing one opponent with this ability are pretty much fucked if they don't have the speed to keep up with the shinobi, because you just can't catch the guy. You can't see the guy. You don't know where he's going to go, right? He's just too quick for you. Too quick, and you end up dying. That's why Minato was heralded as the yellow flash of the leaf, man. So this jutsu is very famous within the Naruto fandom, the Naruto verse, and rightfully so, man. I mean, it made Minato the badass that he is, that speedster that he is, the guy that the other nations feared to such an extent that they said, or particularly the Stone Village said, you have to fucking run when you see this guy. You don't stand a fucking chance. He's too fast. You might as well get as far as possible before he kills you, right? And that's what he did. He was capable of beating 1,000 shinobi on his own, because he's that capable with this jutsu. So guys, there's just no way that this isn't a legendary god tier fucking jutsu, and there's no way I was not going to have this on the list. It definitely belongs at number 2. Alright, so before we get to the number 1 jutsu on my list, I have to give a few honorable mentions, because like I said, there were a few jutsus that could have been on this list, but after a long time of debating with myself, I came up with this list. So here are my honorable mentions before we get to the number 1 spot on this list. So the number 1 jutsu that takes the top spot on this list is Shadow Clone Jutsu, guys. Now, I mean, the jutsu is used by the main character of the fucking show, right? I mean, the show is named Naruto, and Naruto's specialty is Shadow Clone Jutsu. And it just happens to be really fucking cool. So with this ability, the user can make 1 or more copies of themselves, with those who are masterful of the jutsu being able to create copies that are relative in power to their own, which Naruto is able to do later on in the anime and mangas. Also, the user can greatly enhance training time, with each clone being able to accumulate training abilities and knowledge individually, resulting in just exponentially times faster training time, right? So like when Naruto learned the Rasen Shuriken, he learned it like in a week or some shit like that, because he had thousands of shadow clones that were accumulating knowledge, right? For anyone else, it would have taken fucking years. So that's amazing, first of all. And this is the epitome, I like to say, of abilities that can overwhelm opponents. I mean, you're basically creating a fucking army from thin air with your chakra. So I mean, how much cooler can it get, right? I really couldn't put this jutsu anywhere else on this list due to it being so iconic and just plain out cool. I mean, this is basically the Kamehameha of Naruto, right? Kamehameha, everyone knows that shit. Everyone knows Shadow Clone Jutsu, right? So Naruto's specialty is Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's the reason why he became Hokage. It's the reason why he learned so much in such a small amount of time. It's the reason why he got so powerful. It's just a really, really iconic and pivotal, extremely pivotal jutsu within the anime, and arguably one of the most pivotal jutsus in anime history. So, I mean, there's nowhere else I could put this jutsu, man. I know it's not the most cool to think of as far as aesthetics. You know, it doesn't look the coolest. It's just people making clones of themselves, right? But still, it's really cool when you get down to the nitty gritty of it. You know, what it can do for you, how it can give you numbers, and how once you master it, you have basically a clone of yourself that is as powerful as you, or at least close to it. So you're basically an unstoppable army. And let me tell you something, if Naruto as Hokage ever wanted to go rogue, the world would be fucked. What the hell would they do against 5,000 shadow clones, which is the amount he can make as an adult? They'd do absolutely nothing. They'd be fucked, including Sasuke. I'm sorry. So yeah, guys, this has to be a number 1. I mean, what else could I say? It's iconic, it's cool, it's pivotal, all the above. So yeah, this definitely takes the top spot. So there you have it, folks. That is my top 10 Naruto Jutsu list. To be honest, I don't think I've ever worked on a video this hard in my life. I wanted to deliver you guys some great content, so I hope I delivered. Feel free to give me your top 10 Naruto Jutsu in the comments. And let me know if you think I should have put a jutsu somewhere else, or if I completely missed one that wasn't even on this list that should have been on the list. Please feel free to let me know. And also let me know of any other video recommendations that you guys might have. But that's going to wrap it up, folks. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's Jither Gray signing out. Peace.